This is the Linotype. The word Linotype, which is here on this plate, means a line of type. It doesn't produce anymore a single letter, but a line with letters. Okay, and what we have here in these magazines are little matrices, brass plates, which into each of these brass plates a letter is punched in. Okay, one of the letters of the alphabet. And when the printer presses down on the keyboard, a matrix will drop out of the keyboard, out of the magazine, and is assembled here into words. Okay, and then this line of matrices is moving into this elevator, which brings the matrices down in front of this wheel. And the matrices would be sitting like this. The line of matrices would be sitting like this in front of this slit in the wheel. And in the back of this wheel, there's a pot with molten lead. You see the bar of lead hanging from the chain? It gradually moves into the pot and melts with a heat of about 350 Celsius. A line of type is created by the lead, and it would be sitting in the wheel like this, something like this. Okay, ends up here on the tray, which we call a galley. Corrections if needed already here before I send the line away. Make sure there are no mistakes in what has been said, and it can be corrected before the form of type would go on the automatic machine. This is a proof press and would print only one sheet and would be read, corrected if necessary, and then the form would move in the automatic press and we would print hundreds and thousands and 10,000 copies, whatever is required. Okay? Okay, here we have the printer's ink in the pot. Apply it to the rollers. Now, as you see, the steel roller is moving back and forth. This steel roller, as you see, distributing the ink evenly, and also applying the ink to the two rubber rollers, which in turn go across the type and apply the ink to the type. So we apply the ink to the type, okay? Like this. And then this cylinder holds the paper tight, then applies the pressure, and then it prints. Okay? If the ink is wet, if you touch it, you smudge it. We came to see a demonstration of printing the good old days of yore. These three lines rather, are also in wood, and they're out of this type case. Children say, oh, that's like wanted poster. These here are line spaces. See, there is no space between the lines. So you would use these spaces, put them between the lines, and then the lines are separated. They are lower than type, so they wouldn't print. Okay, so everything which is type high will print. the printer was measuring in points. And those points are still visible in computers. If you select the font of type to a certain size, it will show 8, 10, 12, and so on, which are points, printer's points. These are larger spaces, or as we call it also furniture. They would be separating sections of the lines or of the print. Here we have a larger separation. The wooden spacing is quite old, because later on it was replaced by lead spacing. See, which looked like this. Same measurements, 12 points and 6 points, which much more accurate than wood. Of course, wood can move one way or another, shrink or expand. This printing press was built about more than 100 years ago. It came from the United States and it was very popular. We call it a Platen Press because the metal plate, which presses a sheet of paper against the type, which is sitting in here in this frame. And the ink is here on this table, this plate. The ink is on this plate. And this, you will see during the process that the plate moves a little bit, so the ink is always distributed evenly. It's all hand fed. So the paper was applied here. The ink is picked up by these rollers, okay? And then it's brought against the type again. After the ink is on the rollers, the paper was applied here, and then the rollers pick up the ink from this plate and apply it now to the type, which is sitting in there. Then it's taken out there, the next sheet is applied, taken out, and on and on and on. Here we have a model of Mr. Gutenberg's printing press. It's modeled after pictures we have from those days, and apparently Mr. Gutenberg fashioned or built a printing press following the example of a wine press. And what we have here is put the type in here and a sheet of paper over here. Close the lid, which holds the paper in place. Press this down, and then via this crank we move this whole thing, the type and paper, underneath this block, and then cranks this down and presses the sheet of wood against the paper and against the type, and then bring it back. Now this is a model, but it's not really a working model. And there we have a printed copy. Okay, and the process would be repeated for so many times.